Hey everybody, got a new tool here. In the last video I was not having a wrench to fit on there to tighten this up, and I used some of my radius plywood, and I made this, and it's a little harder to use than using something that pinches this, but it's got some advantages too. It's less likely to crush the wire because it's not pinching, and I've been using it to work the wire a little bit before I shot this video, and it seems to be working pretty dang good. And you use it basically the same way you kind of used the wrench in the past. Make sure you get it nice and tight on there. And then pull on there till it self-tightens all the way out. And then it's kind of nice. You can get a little more leverage with this, and it's not as likely to crush the wire. And when you got many strands, that was a problem I had in the past. I had to be careful not to squeeze the wrench too tight. And the new stand's working out pretty nice for me. I like being able to get in real close up here to the wire when I'm working it. And so basically the way I got this the way it is I did, the bouncy. If somebody's watching this video and they haven't watched the smaller tree videos, I highly suggest you do. Otherwise you might be at somewhat of a loss, because I'm not going to go over the basics again because it takes a lot of time. Okay, so that's the new wrench. I suppose maybe I should bring that up to the camera so you get a better look at it. So it's that radius plywood, and it's glued and screwed. You put a lot of stress on this strap, so I was kind of worried I might tear it out of the screws, so I glued it in there. There's about 2 inches of it between the wood. Pretty simple tool, but definitely for the large tree making, this is the way to go. And the other thing that I found, I was at the thrift shop the other day, and I'm always I like going to the thrift shop. You never know what you'll find. And I found this stuff, which I'm gonna call the red wrap. Well, what that came from was this. Found this at the thrift shop, and when I picked it up and touched it, I just knew this was gonna be a material that was gonna work well for tree wrap. It was only 50 cents. I think it's a baking pan. It's got a bunch of little circular marks in here that look like they're about the size of a bottom of a cupcake cup. So I think this is a baking pan. I'm not sure. I don't do baking, but I remember hearing once they were using silicone for baking. But basically what it is I did, I drew the straight lines on it, and then I used my scalpel to just cut the strips out. And the really nice thing about this stuff is the one side here, it's got a little bit of texture to it, so it grips itself really well. I've used kind of other stretchy things to wrap these high strand count trees before, but this stuff just is a joy to work with. And so you use that like this, and that's really gonna, the more strands you got, the more squeeze. It's nice to have that extra squeeze to them rather than just that thin plastic wrap. And this stuff's reusable where the plastic wrap's not. So I'm going to use a combination of those. And the other nice thing about this is, especially for the bottom here, because we got a real big foot, this stuff doesn't want to slide up and down the wire hardly at all. So that's going to be nice. I can't find any identifying manufacturer info anywhere on this baking sheet thing, so I have no idea who made it or where it comes from, but real handy stuff if you happen to see one at the thrift shop or in the store. And how I got this far basically is, you can see I got one of my strap wrenches on there. I kept twisting it with my hands, hitting it with the tools till I got this nice foot on there. Another thing too is I used two sizes of basically hammers on this stuff. You got the thicker one, it's I don't know, it's got a little more oomph to it, it's a little heavier. And then like these roots here, when I'm twisting this part of the tree, these do pull up through the jig a little bit. I'll usually, probably before this tree is done, I'll actually pull a 1/2 inch up out of the jig. It's just one of those things that happens, and I just kind of plan for it. And so when you see them coming up, once you get the wrench on there and you're twisting, you just go in there and tap them down. You don't want to get too nuts pounding on your jig, because if you hit the plastic too hard, you could crack it. But so basically, before I put this stuff on, I was just using this, and I would tighten it up and bang on it and tighten it up and slide it up and down and look for crossing wires in there. And if there were crossing wires, I'd take everything off but this loose piece of plastic and get them uncrossed. And I'm not going to take this red wrap off, because I think I got a real nice pattern underneath there, and I don't want to let that come loose, so I'm going to leave that on there. And so basically I'm going to go with the that strap wrench that I showed you before, and I'm going to keep working my way up to my trunk, to my first branch, which is I think going to end up somewhere in here. We'll see. And then I'll get to show you how to add a few extra wires into a branch. That's something that we haven't went over yet. So at any rate, two new fun things to play with. Talk to you guys soon.